Hello and welcome. If you're here today, I'm going to assume that you're an aspiring web designer looking to learn the tools of the trade, or perhaps you run a small business and you need to set up your website but don't want to spend thousands of dollars to pay someone else to do it. In any case, this series of videos is going to introduce you to a powerful set of website design tools called WordPress. Today we're going to discuss what WordPress is, what it isn't, and how you can get access to it. So, what is WordPress? WordPress is an open source toolset. For those of you not familiar with the term open source, it means simply that the code, in this case the actual code that the WordPress program uses, is freely available to use, distribute, modify. You don't have to pay anyone for it because no one really owns WordPress, even though the code is created and managed by WordPress.org. The really cool part of WordPress being open source is that an entire community of users and coders has developed around it. This means that there are both a lot of people just like you learning and using these tools, as well as a bunch of other people who are creating new tools to work with and improve the WordPress experience. But we're going to get to that in later videos to really show you what those tools look like and how to use them. For right now, it's just important to know that WordPress is a set of tools that makes designing a website much easier, so you can focus on the content of your site. That is, the text, the images, the layout, without having to learn HTML, CSS, Python, or any other number of computer languages. So that's what this is, a set of tools. So what isn't WordPress? Hosting. What is hosting? Here's how I like to think about it. Every website, even this one right here, wordpress.org, is essentially a bunch of code sitting on a computer somewhere. So when I go to a search for, google.com, and in Google, my Google search, I put in WordPress, I have connected to a computer that Google owns that is doing this search for me. And if I were to click on any one of these individual websites, I would then also go to another website, another set of code that's hosted on another computer that legitimately exists out in the world. That's essentially how the internet works in general, computers connecting to computers. But if every website has to be hosted, then how do we get our website up and running? Well, you have two options. One, which is really uncommon, is that you could turn your own computer into the host. Now, that may sound alluring, but keep in mind that that would mean that your computer would always have to be up and running in order for your website to be accessible. If your power goes out or the internet goes out, so does your website. As a result, most people actually go with the second option, paying someone else to use their computer to host their website. There are, in fact, whole businesses out there that do this. Companies like Bluehost, HostGator, WP Engine, and, as you see right here, Wordpress.com. Now, Wordpress.com is not the same as WordPress, and that's actually one of the key points that I wanted to make today. WordPress, if you recall, again, that's that free set of tools. But WordPress.com is a host that you can use to host your website. Oh, and also use WordPress. They're entirely independent of one another. You don't have to use WordPress.com as your host in order to use the WordPress set of tools. So, quick summary, WordPress.org is the website that has that free set of tools. All of these, you can even come up here and you can see and download the latest version of WordPress right now. Get WordPress. That's entirely separate from WordPress.com, which is a place that you can see plans and pricing in order to host your website, and also comes already installed with the set of WordPress tools that you are going to want to use. That's where we're going to end today's video. And in next week's video, we're actually going to talk about your hosting options and how to get WordPress installed. Because even if you choose not to use WordPress.com, you are going to need hosting. Your website really should be hosted somewhere else so that you don't have to have that always on, always maintained website or risk your website having downtime. So next week, we'll take a look at those options and how we can get that tool set from WordPress.org loaded into your hosted site. Thanks, and I look forward to seeing you next week.